Welcome back again to the Global Invitational here in Taicang, China, And man, it's been a good set of games so far. A couple of lopsided ones here recently. We'll see if we can't turn that around, although it's going to be difficult here for OPK as they take on SV. What did you see from OPK? We've seen both teams play now today, right?
Is it TNC and Penta? Because I've seen them up there.
Yes, you are right. I skipped a match.
It's okay. But SV versus OPK, it will be hard for OPK, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But TNC and Penta, TNC looked really strong in the beginning of their match against the Brazilian team.
Yeah.
But they kind of faltered later on, so we'll see if they can remain strong this entire match. They'll have a good chance to beat Penta. But at the same time, Penta, with the addition of FaZe, I'm looking at them to be much stronger than they even were in CFPL. And they're going to come out strong. They're probably going to win this match. It's my bet. I don't know what yours is. But I'm going to say like a...
I don't know.
A 10-6. I'm going to give it a 10-6.
I think it's hard to... I want to see Penta play with their roster on the international stage before...
You place bets?
Right, because...
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, they look so rough. They look pretty bad in CFPL. I mean, I think they took maybe one or two maps total.
I mean, that's fair. I mean,
and it just never looked.
when you're, in their defense, it was totally new rule set. You're playing against Chinese teams, the best in the world, and on a totally different version of CF with different strategies and things like that, because the flash. So in their defense, it was very difficult. But yes, when you do come in last place, it's not looking too hot for you, and there's only up to go from there.
I realize all of that, but I just mean if you take in a vacuum.
I understand. I was saying I understand.
Flipside and Penta during their time at CFPL.
If you only watch that.
Right.
Okay. Then yeah, you wouldn't think Flipside and Penta were very good because the other teams just outmatched them.
I also meant comparing Flipside to Penta. And the other thing is that they have the trade, right? I think Penta's a big question mark for me, even though they've been around for so long. Like, does FaZe coming back, does it just slot back in and everybody is happy-go-lucky and we're back to the kind of form we were when we went to the CFS finals? It very well could be, but I want them to show me it first before I believe.
I completely understand. And I'll just say this last thing to wrap it up on that. I think FaZe will fit in really well because their playstyle is kind of free. Their playstyle is aggressive, free, and that's exactly how FaZe plays on any team. So I'm looking for this to be a pretty easy slot him right in, start fragging immediately, start doing better immediately.
Lineup here will be Niels, Lunas, FaZe, Blame, and he's not called Moon anymore.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. There you go. And Blame there. I wonder if he got his shirt turned back around.
Oh yeah, during the opening, you noticed that.
Oh, there it is. It's still inside out, baby. Let's go. Wait, it might actually not be inside out.
Maybe his is just like more faded than the others.
Like a lot more faded though. I mean, look at the difference there.
That's super weird. Maybe it's like an older style of the shirt.
That could be. We may never know. Or we could just ask him later. Yeah.
That's true, but I'd rather speculate.
Speculating is much more fun. And yeah, I think that's the guy to keep your eye on. Not only, that and previously Moon.
We're awesome now. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. All right, I gotta get back used to that. Who used to be opping for the team when FaZe bounced over to Flipside is now going to be bounced out to.
They made. Well, the thing is, in CF, it's easily viable to run a 2-op setup. It's actually really good to run a 2-op setup. So we'll probably be seeing that a lot because I don't think Awesome is going to switch off the sniper too much. But the thing is, in the recent tournaments that he played online, he was doing a bit of both. He's actually really good with the rifle, and he was sniping as well. So they'll probably just mix it up. I'm not sure, but FaZe is too good of a sniper for you to just switch him completely to a rifle. So it's hard. It's a hard mix-up.
You're not going to sell me on him being objectively a better operator than FaZe. That being said, because of the way that opping works, where sometimes you're on, sometimes you're not. I mean, take for example, one of the best teams in the world in AG. They're so famous for the fact that if, Bean's not feeling like he's going to hit it, then LSN's just going to pick it up. Or they can freely pick up the double op, right? Yeah. So maybe that's a new look that we can see from Penta and more versatility that they didn't have in the past.
And I'll say this, just in regards to Penta, to wrap up, I guess, the whole Penta thing, I've seen a lot of improvement from some of them individually. Like Rain, he's really been stepping up lately. We'll see if he can do that in this match. But he's been really stepping up lately, and so has Niels. Niels has greatly improved from his time in China. Like, near the end of it, he was improving a lot. And I'm saying from being in China, he's been improved a lot. Not since then, but like overall because of that.
I mean,
so a lot of improvements overall. Near the end of the split, they weren't doing too bad. They were competing decently, better than at the beginning.
That goes without question, right? Yeah. I mean, if you're coming in,
but it was a noticeable difference.
Yeah. For sure. As we do look at the TNC lineup here, we saw them earlier, and we'll have to see what they can do to bounce back. They suffered a pretty
disappointing loss.
Yeah,
especially that last round, 2v5. What a beautiful round from OPK though. We'll give all credit to them, but at the same time, you gotta say they should have pulled that off. Which is definitely depressing on their side.
But that makes this match, as Penta can abandon port. They do that. Well, the double port ban.
They're both
comes out.
Hey, their port is really good. We should ban it.
And we will have Mexico global risk. I know that Penta believes that their Mexico is really good, but I don't understand why they don't think that their own port is really good. I've always thought their port was good. So good.
Their port is definitely good, but their Mexico should also be really good as well, because they're really aggressive players for one. They all have really good aim, and that's what it comes down to. If you're aggressive and you can aim well, Mexico should be your map.
Yeah, and they're going to take to the defense initially here as Penta, and just to remind you guys, right, that this is the group stage, and TNC already one loss down, right? This is such an important match for them if they want to move on to those knockout stages, because who did they lose? They lost to Brazil, which means that there's still a Chinese team waiting in their group. Yeah. That if they lose here, like, it's already almost impossible, but then you also have to beat, let me see, you also have to beat SV. Like,
seems doable.
Who's left in your group? Boss and SV. If you lose to Penta, you're pretty much, that's a large uphill climb.
And as far as I know, if they lose this right here, I think they're already out of the group pretty much. They'll still play the other matches, but they have no chance to get out because they won't be top 2.
Right. Well, four matches, right? Mm-hmm. So it's still possible because there's five teams to a group.
Oh, there's 5 teams to a group?
Right, because 5 regions.
So they have to take 3 losses.
Yeah. I mean, it's never that cut and dry. But it's certainly gonna be influential. I mean, but on paper you have to say this is a must-win game
for sure, because they still have to face SV, and they still have to face Boss. And I think if we roll between all the stats, story. So they still have to look forward to SV and a
Right, and well, let's go ahead and get into this all-important match for both teams. Penta and as we said, Penta electing to go on to the global risk side, and we will see TNC on the blacklist as a lot of equipment coming around that corner, as is every round. And Dark gonna open us up with one onto Niels.
That was fast.
Yeah, and we do see Awesome taking that AK, at least initially. I don't know how much Mexico is ever going to favor a double op setup. It barely even favors one. There's barely room enough for one, much less 2. That being said, Dark making it work here in the early Stage is picking up 1 for himself. And I'm not sure
gonna boost each other
really
on top. Probably
what's
boost the op up.
going on here.
But they cannot seem to double
right.
jump. No, they're actually boosting the rifler up, so they're probably going to go for some sort of mid hit. Well, okay.
So
they got all the time in the world, though. It's okay.
Jumping tutorials here.
But yeah, they're going to be going for some sort of mid hit here.
I don't mind this at all because of that. There's a great position for the Opera to hold there, looking down to the mid on those boxes. As we do see MKC poking around, trying to ask questions of the tunnels here.
I'm not sure what that smoke actually is. That didn't look like a proper smoke. Maybe it's just a distraction?
It's down there in mid.
Oh, it is. It actually did hit.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations on that, I guess.
That's an interesting angle, perhaps. But a good location for a smoke, oftentimes.
Quad. It was a quad smoke,
Yeah.
So they did take mid control, but the question is, how are they going to work it from here? It looks like they're not even going to smoke off A. They're actually just going to work picks down toward it, which is abnormal. But we'll see how it works out for them. They do get a pick, so it does end up working out. They're taking this A site. They got to worry about one guy at tractor, though. Can Nunes hold this off? He's definitely a good defensive player, but he can't even
where is he?
Bullet in there. He was in the tractor. He was just spraying around the tractor. Pretty funny.
I didn't see him go down was the thing. I thought he just magically disappeared. I swear I didn't see anything hit him.
It happens in CF. It's called glitches. You can just die randomly.
Oh, yeah? Does that still happen?
It does still happen sometimes.
That would be rough.
Oh,
what
phase with
was that phase?
He killed him straight through the little slits. That's pretty funny. That's a really precise shot there from phase. I see you.
But he pre-fired it. He knew exactly where he was going to be hitting the second he came around that corner. And he was just hoping that somebody was sitting
Maybe Lunas
there.
called that they were actually planting there. Because if they do plant there, generally they just sit on the bomb and look through that crack.
That's a good point. As it goes, though, TNC, after their jumping bonanza to get back up there, they do execute on the strat in the end. And that will put them up 1-0 over Penta here. But still plenty left to play. And FaZe peeking somewhat aggressively, as we do see a pretty heavy... Oh, now he's getting...
So they're continuously giving up mid here.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe it's something they saw in practice yesterday versus TNC, but this is abnormal for the Europeans. Generally, they like to contest mid.
He saw the barrel.
That he did. That sniper is still looking toward A to get a pick here.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Yep. That's one of the easiest shots you're ever going to hit in your life, FaZe. I'm not giving you too much credit for that one. As he was looking the complete opposite direction and was not moving at pace.
Oh, goodness. That was a bad peek there.
That's a better.
There was no need to peek that wide on water. You just had to... They should be crossfiring with that. It looks like they're going to be going toward the B side. And they still cleaned it up because they had a double stack toward B, so it still worked out. The crossfire toward water was unnecessary, I guess.
Well, I guess so. Especially if Niels is going to pick you up a double kill there on his way over. That will do plenty for you in the way of evening it up here. 1-1. Some trading going on. RGM getting a peek at somebody there. And again, doesn't look like there's going to be much contest at middle, as you were saying here from Penta. A little bit there from Blame. And again, we see FaZe creeping into that same position again, looking for more. But I doubt you'll catch Dark sleeping again in that position. Who's really looked to me to be a pretty good player here, Dark here for TNC.
I'm gonna throw this out there. They're actually coming in. They're doing exactly what I was going to mention. Wow. So as soon as they start coming into mid, TNC, what they need to do, because they're just sitting in mid for so long, is Flipside needs to just flash over and collapse on mid, and that's exactly what they did. As I was about to mention it. That's
Unfortunately, it doesn't quite pan out as you would like, as they do end up in the two-man, or in the one-man well, now two-man.
It just seems like they did it a bit early. What you got to wait for is, that Opera that's just sitting there in mid, you should put like maybe 2 toward triple, toward A site, 2 toward quad, and then once they get safely into mid, when they're like, pretty deep inside of it, then you flash over and you go. Because what happened right there is they went too early, and that's the reason why that they had to rush prep, which is like the back alleyway, in order to get to the enemy. And that was just unfortunate.
Yeah, prep, not a place you necessarily ever want to be on the CT side, as that is fairly deep.
This is prep right here for all of you that don't know, by the way. And early aggression in the mid here, they're finally aggroing, and there you go. That's what they should have been doing the whole time, just getting those aggro peaks like Europe always likes to do, Penta always likes to do especially. And it worked out into their favor. They got a 2-for-1 trade.
Yeah, Blame maybe getting a bit of greed there, as it did seem like he had enough time to pick the 2 and then get out. But 3 is more than 2, from what I hear.
No, I've heard that math is real.
Yep.
I don't know, dude.
And well, the C4 gonna be heading into the gully, which, unless someone goes down there, or nope, I looked at that wrong. That's my fault. I thought he was further to the left there on the mini map, but in fact, this will be Medalla with the C4 in his hands.
The thing is, they still have Dark, so they're probably going to go right back into that strategy of letting Dark peek into A. Now, I can't really see what Dark is doing right now, but it looks like... Actually, I have no... Okay, yeah, he's peeking into A.
Just as the smoke is dying.
Same strategy. They're going to walk up. This is good, because they've already taught Penta that they can't peek, because Dark is just going to pick them out. This is good. Yeah, see, they're just picking them off.
The 1-for-1 does come out, though, and a nice double kill there from Awesome.
A beautiful triple kill there. Way to come up. Way to come up, Awesome. That was great. But curious, though. It didn't seem like Dark was still watching the hut. He should have still been staring at the hut. Or at least doing something like that.
Preventing him from opening like that without the threat, at least, of a trade. Or perhaps he just missed the shot.
True. Perhaps.
And... again begins the fiesta of throwing everything you own towards this corridor from both directions.
The curse of Mexico. It's the nade
it's
sucker.
The toll.
Is what it is.
It's the toll. The Mexico toll.
That spot has a black hole meant for nades. Oh, what a shot by Mac! I don't even know how he pulled that off. I don't even think FaZe could see him at that point.
He must have seen a foot. He had to see FaZe's foot or something.
What an aggressive peek, though. That was a lot of confidence just to run out mid like that. It just shows how confident the Philippines are. Or this Philippine team is.
And that will give them, that will tie up the roster, the man number. Oh my gosh.
4-4.
Words. Yeah. Difficult. Blame, though, is sitting on low HP and not any tag damage whatsoever on any member of TNC that is alive.
This is a good setup here from Penta, though. They've got 1 close A doors, they've got 1 triple, and they've got 1 in back of A. So if they actually go on to A right now, TNC, this could be detrimental for them. But we'll see how it turns out, because Penta's had some good setups before that haven't turned out. So
it still doesn't seem like they're in too much of a rush yet, even though we are into the last minute. We haven't seen anybody prepping any... Well, as I say that, MKC pulls out a flash, and it does look like it is time to go.
It's flashing the door, and they're going to go straight in. Yeah.
And he's going to lose the initial duel there to Niels, and Niels is going to prevent MKC from pushing out aggressively. And it's going to work out hugely in favor here for Penta as the bomb is down. It is right next to him, but can he actually get to it is another question.
He's got 30
without
seconds.
Dying. Huge flash there, and he does get taken down immediately by Blame while completely flashed out.
Yeah. I mean, he could have played a little bit more patiently there, because I'm sure his teammates were telling him that they were lit up.
Yeah, I mean, but they were coming from so many angles.
That is true.
With equipment left to spare. I mean, they were coming on the hunt rather than
waiting for him.
Letting him take the fight to them. And that really was what was the death knell for that round. And that will put Penta into the lead here. I believe the first lead that they've had, as a nice bit of tag damage coming onto TNC. And I believe that was the grenade thrown there by Medalla that tagged onto FaZe and Awesome. But the HP advantage, at least early on here, going to go to Penta, as we do see TNC Dark here. Oh, he's going to find it, and it's on to FaZe no less. And that's going to play very much into the strategy that it seems like TNC likes to run. And, you know, Dark, I've been reasonably impressed with at least his mechanical skill. It seems like TNC, just as a team, has some more growing to do. But I think, like, potential-wise, they look so good, just mechanically, with some of these players.
They seem to have almost kind of a similar style to where Revenge goes around and picks for Makta. They're kind of doing that with Dark right now. They're kind of sending him first, just like chilling around waiting for him to get a pick. But as we say that here, they push out of water. And trades are not going in favor for them. They've got 2 for 2. And
there it goes, though.
As I said, the trades go exactly in favor for them and win them the round.
Loon certainly did his half of that crossfire, picking up 3 for himself, but didn't quite pan out for anyone else, as just basically just losing duels there was Penta, and that's going to tie things back up here at 3-3. And spraying through the smoke, it does look like Mac is a little bit lucky to get away with his life there. And that's going to slow things down here. Well, I say that as Medalla gets traded out there. And Dark going to get seen there by Blame, who's really been on point here with his shots. And yeah, there goes another one to him. As we see the 4v3 now going to come out. Blame on low HP, but so is Max. So a decisive advantage here for Penta, especially with that 4-man being able to mount a pretty sturdy defense towards both points. Although, as I say that, it is Blame who's going to be the first to fall. MKC going to take some more tag damage. But
he had a good positioning there. It was just unlucky. The timing is what that was. Good positioning, though. Good play.
Yeah, yep. Perhaps a bit of luck back in the favor of Penta. As in fact, it's going to be Awesome, who's putting a nice round on the board a nice half on the board for himself when it comes to impact frags, as you said.
Yeah, he may not have the highest frag score right now, but he definitely has. He won one round for them for sure, and then this round right here, that frag right there meant everything.
He's hit him when it counts.
Yeah,
and nice peek there by Niels, and really well done there by both of them. Not necessarily ideal without the double peek, but when he was still pre-firing that position, definitely going to work out in your favor.
5-man water push here, or 4-man actually. 5th is coming up behind though.
Where did that? They threw a smoke. They threw an A smoke initially.
Okay, yeah, they're going to do some sort of shift walk push here, or no? They're actually just aggressively going for it. They've seen that early on. I guess they don't want water.
Yeah,
going completely in favor of TNC right now. 3v2 though, 3v1. See if he can NLS with a nice shot. Maybe he can pull this off. He's got the confidence here. He's got the shot for sure.
Oh, that's...
but that was just good peaks from TNC all around.
That being said, they
almost lined up.
They're about a millimeter away from lining up there. And that could have been devastating. But it wasn't to be, and that will tie us up again. Looking like a really close matchup here again here for TNC. Just playing everybody close, at least so far. At 4-4 now here.
And now it looks like they're going 4 people water. They're going to go maybe a little bit later. No smoke, no nothing.
Oh, it's going to be seen out there by Loon.
Yeah, seen too early, and maybe that nade just does a lot of work. Actually, not too much work there. He gets another kill, and somehow he dies to him.
Right. Somehow Medalla suicide.
That was in a 4v3, and now it's a 2v1. Mac, let's see if he can win this half for his team, or are FaZe and Awesome going to come out on top?
Yeah, he does see the bomb there, but he doesn't seem to have really any idea where FaZe and Awesome are posted up. And
okay.
Did he get tagged there a little bit by
I'm not even sure. It was just
that was a little bit weird. Oh,
okay, nice shot there by Awesome.
Now
not
FaZe
really sure
only with the deagle in hand.
I don't know why he was peeking that angle when his teammate was too far away to help him out and get the trade. But FaZe, he's always good in these clutch situations. And look at him right now. He's making plays. He's never going to expect FaZe to be behind him.
Playing a bit of ring around the rosy. Oh my goodness!
FaZe, the hardest shot is a shot from behind, as I said before.
And
Unfortunate.
He put one square in his back, but then couldn't hit another one after it. I think I wonder if he thought he was on low HP or something.
He might
have. He hit the first shot, and
it might have been like he hit the first shot and expected him to die, and then didn't really. He was kind of like flabbergasted or just like taken aback. Yeah.
That momentary lapse will actually, regardless, a round win there for TNC, and that's going to give them the round advantage moving on.
BL side of Mexico. Yeah. Now, Mexico has been a little back and forth in the recent year and a half or so, I'd say, where it's not, we can't really say if it's GR-sided or BL-sided, but the general thought is still that it's GR-sided, even though it does go back and forth. So we could still see a close game here, but 5 rounds on BL side, if it was just going by the book, right now this is a huge advantage.
I don't know, man. I've seen Mexico, just at least as of late, just become so much... just because of how tight it is, there's so many set plays you can run. Like, I've seen teams just A push every time and 7-2 on attack. Just because they have that exact play set down so well.
That may be a difference of regions, though.
Yeah.
Because in the regions that I pay attention to, because they're close to me, like EU and A, Mexico is still a GR7.
I would
push out here from mid from Penta, looking like it's going in kind of an even way, except for the HP. And then, just a beautiful there. 3K, great positioning, like you just said, from RGM, just coming up from behind.
Yeah, and that's going to put another round on the board for TNC and start to put the pressure on Penta now. It's been, I mean, I think 2 is the largest lead anyone has had here. And we've had plenty of lead changes, and all the equipment in the world comes through again. Oh my goodness. Literally almost all of the equipment from TNC. They have 1 flash and 2 smokes now.
That is crazy.
That's a little...
I've never seen anybody use that many.
Over-aggressive, perhaps. Maybe a bit of miscommunication there on who's using it, and 1 less smoke there, but they do have 1 more kill onto FaZe. So a decent trade there. Equipment only matters if you're alive to use it, I guess, right? As we will see, FaZe goes down, but 4 alive here, and playing it slow. And that's what
Blame.
A shot there.
Those entry kills by Blame.
Trades back and forth. A double kill there by Neil's going to open up this B site. The question is, are they aware of it?
The timing just wasn't in his favor this time.
Yeah, I mean, Dark looking for the God tier play here with the...
This is his spot.
Right, exactly.
We'll see how he
does. It does seem like
time.
they have an idea of it. Oh, but the smoke is not on point.
But he has no clue where they are. That's the important part.
And they have vision
he's
now.
taken by surprise right there. If he could pull this off, this would be pretty much a miracle at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, there's really no reason him the peeks.
No reason to peek there. He's going to have to no-scope 1. Oh, that's so clever,
though. Oh, that could have been it right there. If he had just taken him out,
yeah,
he could have put out the deagle and had a very fair chance of getting that 1v2.
Yeah, I don't know if he was putting forth any audible clues there, but man, that crouch at that last second to block that sight line and try to move to the what you would consider the second man first was really smart. It didn't quite pay out, but that will put Penta back within striking distance now here at 5-6. It's looking like it's going to go down to the wire for all the world, as we do see a little bit slower now here into this round. Perhaps Penta worried about the absolute rain of grenades that came out at the beginning of the first round. But instead, it will be FaZe looking like he's going to try and hop up onto these boxes and peek through mid. Dark is holding a position there on A deep. And MKC going to need to hold this here with Madala. And that's it well done, sir.
Just a mow down here. That was a great... Honestly, if you look at TNC's setup, they're set up to defend against a mid attack. They generally have 2 toward A, 1 of them is close triple, and then they have 2 in middle. So if you hit water, I mean, it's hard to notice it from the BL side's perspective, but if they somehow get the intuition and they just hit water, or they hit alley fast, there's a good chance they could win either one of those rounds.
Yeah, we've not seen either team really try to work alley very much. As I say that, Awesome is going to push pretty high up here and see how much information he can get for his team. And, well, I mean, there you go. Alley play, as you say it. Looks like the play here. And this is one of those places where you can have really good set plays where flashes should come out in every direction.
There we go. Penta coming in, 2 clean kills. Barely any damage done back, except until he gets a nice headshot there.
Right.
But a 3v4 situation with the control of A side.
And the bomb down.
Ooh, that was... MKC comes up from the back. Perfect timing by him. Such an aggressive early play.
Yeah, that was an important one for Awesome to win, and he certainly did not. And it's going to be... Oh, my goodness! They're just completely cleaned out there by TNC, and that's going to put them on 8 points. Looking dangerously more and more slowly creeping away from Penta here.
You remember whenever I said this was going to be possibly a 10-6 in Penta's favor? Look at how this is happening. It's shaping out to be maybe a 10-6 in TNC's favor. Caster's curse, my bad, Penta.
Yeah, getting your wires crossed maybe a little bit there. Your predictive wiring.
I might have your headset, you know?
Oh, that's also a good point. Maybe you've stolen my curse. But Blame looks like he might have been seen just barely there by Dark, as he did take a shot in his direction.
You know, speaking of
the right
Blame,
time.
though, he's actually been doing pretty well so far this
Absolutely.
match. As I said before, it'd be nice to... I want to see if he would step up. And he definitely has stepped up. Even though they're losing, he's been getting some nice entry kills, showing off his aim, you know, showing off the work he's done. It's just a matter of if his team can come up and help him out.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the most quiet player on Penta has been FaZe. I mean, he's sitting at 0-4 right now. As the execute comes in, it does look like it's going to be almost a complete wipe here.
It was a true execution for Penta instead of
right,
TNC.
exactly. That's a very good way of putting it. They lined up for the firing squad, and it is FaZe the last one to go down there. Yeah.
You know, maybe it wasn't such a easy transition as I thought. I mean, I thought it would be such an easy transition for a player who basically plays the same playstyle as them, just to slot right in and go to work, but maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, they've adapted in the middle. Oh my goodness.
What an aggressive play.
Right?
Good shot from Blame there. Those early kills by him.
Whipping back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
1v1. The sniper versus Luna's. Luna's not doing so hot this half. Let's see if he can actually pull it out, but he cannot.
Boom.
Game 10-5.
I have to say I did not expect it to go 10-5.
It was kind of a game that wasn't even like, it was kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah. It really was.
It didn't have a lot of crazy rounds. It was hard to get excited about a lot of it because it was just straight.
Right. Before
still an interesting game.
Before you could really know how the round was going to shape up. They didn't even give you any time to breathe. It was either, there was no like 3v1 retakes even, or very rarely. It was just a lot of, I'm either going to mow you down or you're going to mow me down, or we're going to mow each other down, and then eventually someone's going to win.
Definitely not what I expected, though. I mean, going into this, I knew TNC was a pretty good team.
Yeah.
But I thought Penta would be kind of head and shoulders above them. You know, the second place from Philippines coming in. Philippines is always a strong region. But the second place from Philippines coming in against the first place from EU, I kind of expected after all the CFPL experience that Penta would definitely take that.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be said, FaZe was really quiet in that match. As well, you know, a couple of different members struggling, and even those who were, I mean, pretty much only consistency we saw was out of Blame.
Yeah, Blame was definitely showing up. Like I said, he had a little bit of trouble with consistency in the past, but the latest I've seen, there was just to give you some history, he played against Flipside in the CFGI match, or for CFPL.
Qualifiers.
And he just ripped. He was top frag like every half, and then every single match since then, he's just been ripping it. And then you saw again here, but it didn't do enough work. It wasn't good enough.
I mean, that also being said, you expect more out of Niels as well.
True.
Like we didn't. Yeah. Niels was very quiet. I mean, two of the people that you expect.
Also, Loons is always a very consistent fragger for Penta. Usually, always 1 or 2 kills every other round at least.
Right.
Maybe he's not top fragging, but he's always at the middle. You know.
Yeah, he's definitely. He's a rock. He's a rock. He's the rock. I
really noticed him being there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess it could have been a lot better there for them. They'll have. It's still their first round, right? But that's already starting to shape. But that's already starting to shape the group interestingly, right? If Penta can bounce back and beat OPK, then, and you start having this round robin, could end up with
everybody's 1-1, yeah.
And then SV just stomps everyone. Then we would end up with a possible 4-way tie for second, which would be super hype. But that's still so far away, and that's just me maybe daydreaming a little bit about what would be fun. But we do have coming up next, we will have, as I tried to make this game be apparently, SV versus OPK. And that should be a rough one there for OPK, as SV is looking like they're, again, that unstoppable train that we know them as.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a break right now, and we'll be back with more CFGI.